Hello, everyone. This is your host, Sanjeev Goyal. I'm back again with a phenomenal IIT alum, Navin Chaddha. He doesn't need any introduction. Uh, amazing person. I have met him personally several times. Have heard him, and he's an engineer, but entrepreneur as well as an investor. And he has supported a lot of us, a lot of IIT, and create phenomenal company. Let's bring him and talk to him about his journey. Naveen, welcome to our show.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here. And thank you for all the great work you do for all of the fellow IITians, right? Like, can't commend you to be doing things like this. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Naveen. So, Naveen, let's talk a little bit about your IIT days. I couldn't find anything about you in any of your interview about IIT days.
That's why I'm here, right?
All
Like,
right.
so let's cover things we haven't heard or covered before.
Exactly. So, talk about your hostel life, any interesting story you would like to share, any buntering you were doing in the IT days, whatever you think is worth sharing.
Absolutely, right? So I went to IIT in 1988 as a student in electrical engineering and graduated in 92 and then came to Stanford, which a lot of people know. My dorm, or what is called hostel, was Kumau. And always the fun part is
Oh,
going
come
through.
on.
Yeah, oh, you're also from there?
No,
Amazing.
Shivalik, Shivalik.
Oh, okay, great. So the fun part, which I don't think you want to know or anyone wants to know, is the onboarding period that
Uh,
happens in the first few weeks. It starts with an R, but that word better not get used, right? Because so that was the most interesting experience. And then that orientation changed after 1988. It became much easier because one of my classmates, dorm mates, the stuff he was being made to do, right, like got reported and everything, it got suspension. So everything changed. So people should be thankful to the
88 batch.
1988 batch and also Kumau for making it easier for the following generations, right? So I
So,
think like that was the most interesting entry into IIT that I can remember. And then you make lifelong friendships. My best friend stills, my brothers, sisters, equivalent, are the people I went to school with. And I've enjoyed them as fellow friends, fellow family members. And as you said, I've backed and I've been fortunate to be their partner along their journey. So
true.
it's been fun ride, and basically there are many stories where all of us used to play pranks, basically
I'm sure we can do a podcast
motorcycles.
just
Like
on that.
no, yeah, we can go for half an hour, but I think basically right like that with everybody being protected at home, coming to IIT was a shocker on what your orientation period was. It was
So,
a
where did you
shocker.
grow up? Uh,
I grew up in Delhi
uh,
and basically very near IIT in Hoskas actually and Green
wow.
Park. So it was like walking distance.
You could just
So
commute.
yeah, yeah. But in those days, IIT was kind enough to let people who are Delhiites also have dorms, right? Hostel space. Nowadays, it's not possible. The IITs have just expanded. You and I know that.
Yeah, huge. So, recently, I met Omi Vaidya. If you remember Omi Vaidya, he was one of the actor in Three Idiots movie.
Yep.
And he was asking me, Sanjeev, was the life like that in the one we did in Three Idiots? So I have a question. That's the question for you. Was it
Yeah.
like that in your time?
Yeah. Actually, the main character, right? Like also, and the author essentially was a Kumail uh,
Oh, is he
junior.
Kumar?
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
the story, I think movies are based on themes. A lot of the themes were right, but to make them popular, right, like you have to like basically add some sizzle to it. But people eating at weddings, right, like getting in there, fights with the dean, right, like, and what people our esteemed professors, right? Like some of them, you know how strict they are, and there is words which are used to describe them, which I can't, but it was interesting. So a lot of it was twists, but a lot of it was actually stuff that was happening.
So fast forward, you came to Stanford. You are part of three startups, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah. As an entrepreneur,
As an entrepreneur.
as a PhD dropout, doing companies. But go ahead. This was as a founder, as
Yeah,
a VC. I've been part of more than 60.
yeah,
So
I
three
know.
myself.
You started three companies. So what what was really going in your mind? Because you were pursuing PhD, you could have been an amazing researcher, you may have done different things. So question I really have is what is there any different alternative universe, or there is another version of you where you could be someone else or you want to be someone else?
Yeah, yeah. When I grew up, right, like I always had the dream of working on technologies which could have impact on human beings,
Mhm.
which could change the way we work, live, and play. And I got lucky in IIT to work on speech recognition as part of my undergrad thesis, undergrad work. And when I came to Stanford, we started working on video streaming over the internet. And the application we saw was distance learning. So we launched that at the beginning of 95. And I had like published a lot of papers, was close to getting ready to write my PhD. And then all VCs approach us from Sandhill and say, let's start a company. And it actually took us 6 months to decide whether we're going to start a company or not. But I was lucky to get good mentorship from my advisor, Professor Anup Gupta, and also from the then from Dr. John Hennessy, who was the head of the CS department, eventually ended up becoming the dean and then the president of Stanford.
Yeah,
That hey, you want to have impact? It's okay. Take a 1 year leave of absence and go. This is the way. You always have had the dream to help change the world. Put video on the internet. So that's what we did. And in 18 months, we got acquired by Microsoft. The technology became Windows Media. I actually went back before the acquisition happened on my PhD defense date was set up. And the same date, they set up a meeting with Bill Gates.
oh
And
no.
you have to go pitch for the acquisition at that level. So I canceled and deferred my PhD defense, what is called the oral. And since then, it has never happened. Even though we invented video streaming over the internet, I had 35 research papers in my 3 years in grad school and 35 patents, but dropout, right?
That's
It
okay.
wasn't fashionable. It took me 6 months to actually convince my parents and friends
Parents, I was
that
about to
I
say,
should do a startup. Remember, in the early 90s and mid 90s,
a
startups,
scary thing for parents.
scary, but also, right, like, really? You're not going to work for Microsoft, Oracle, Apple? Like, really? You're going to do a startup? I said, like, give me a chance. But you have to always go against the tide to do something. And it was not popular for somebody on an F1 visa to drop out. And that's what I tell other IITians or any entrepreneur I meet, right? Like, take a chance. If you don't, what will happen? Luckily, I had the safety net to go back to Stanford. I was on a leave of absence from my PhD program, which many people may not have. But in life, if you don't try,
Yeah,
right, like you'll never accomplish what you are capable of.
true, true. So, Naveen, uh, let's talk a little bit about where the world is going. And you are in the helm. I mean, not only 60 or 80 plus companies you are really involved in, and as a Mayfield venture, you're part of thousands of other people who may or may not be getting funding from you. You are meeting a lot of people. I know a lot of some of my friends even got mentored by you, and your team is very involved with them. Where do you see our world is going? Because especially the way things are today, and I'm not going to talk about the politics, but really in last 2 years, AI
Yeah,
become the word, and I'm still scratching my head. Is it for real?
yeah,
Real,
yeah.
real? What is it about?
Yeah, so I think let me give you my perspective as a former engineer, CTO, entrepreneur, and now VC. Uh, so every decade, there is a tectonic shift that happens in the information technology industry. We went from mainframe to client server to PC to internet. Then social happened, then mobile happened with the iPhone moment,
Yeah.
then cloud, blockchain, right? Like, so you have once in a decade opportunity.
Mhm.
I think AI has been around actually since 40s. Just now with what AI can do, I'll talk about what's the difference. I think it's once in a lifetime opportunity. Ignore valuations, ignore the hype cycle.
Mhm.
And why is it once in a lifetime opportunity is two things have happened. It's a 100x opportunity. 10x is it's a new user interface. For the first time, machines understand human language. You, me, all engineers throughout our life have been trying to learn machine language. We code to it. But now we can speak, we can type in the language we know, and machines understand our language. Beautiful. So now master slave relationship has changed, right? You're you can converse, and this increases the adoption of technology to all people in the world because phones are available everywhere. And that's why to get to 100 million users, Chat GPT took 2 months. The internet browser took 10 years to get to 100 million users because they want PCs, they want broadband, right? So that's one thing. 10x change in user interface. Second, with the work that NVIDIA, the CPU speed, the software that was available, machines can now not only just do things, they can research, they can plan and take action. And that's a big deal. And our thesis is AI is actually going to team up with humans to make them superhumans. And AI is making us enter an era of collaborative intelligence between machines and humans. And it's going to change the way we work, live, and play. There's like 7 billion connected people in this world. Now, 7 billion people, 100 billion, maybe a trillion machines, everything because of connectivity, everything has a CPU. You can just do amazing things. So the world is endless possibilities. It's just the beginning. We can't even imagine what the future
What is
looks like. And we should not focus on anytime a new technology comes, there is fear. Yes, there'll be some job
disruption?
dislocations. But in the end, humans win. We are smart. We're not dinosaurs. So we should be looking at this as a tool. We are the jockey, and this technology is the horse. So I'm like very, very bullish. Humans are smart. The thought leaders are already figuring out how to use this technology to become better. And this fear, it'll take away my jobs and everything in the business. AI is not selling to AI. AI sells to humans. They can stop the usage of it.
They can.
And so it has to be a win-win. That's why I look at it as an era of collaborative intelligence, not artificial intelligence. AI agents, that's the tech word. What it does together changes the way. It's already changing the way we essentially work, live. Now we'll see how playing will happen too. So it's going to be very, very interesting times.
Exciting. Yeah,
Very exciting. And having
yeah.
been in the industry as an engineer from 1988 to starting a company at the end of 95, seen these shifts, right? Like, and it's like endless possibilities because PCs are everywhere, smartphones are everywhere, internet connectivity is everywhere. So if you come up with something, it can catch adoption like there's no tomorrow.
Absolutely. So, fast forward. And I know I'm not going to put you on a spot, and we don't know,
It's
honestly.
okay. You can put me. It's
All
fine.
right.
It's
So
your role.
let's
I may
fast.
not answer, but it's your
So
role.
we grew up watching movie Back to the Future, and
Yep.
that's one of my favorite movies.
Yep.
Want you to predict our future in 2050. What do you think?
2050. I
2050?
wish. Yeah, I wish I knew
No,
what will
nobody knows,
happen.
but what would you like to
Yeah.
see?
My feeling is humans are going to get elevated to superhumans. They'll be able to do things that they hadn't even imagined they could do. And using this technology, it will free up time, it will augment our capabilities, and really allow us to do things we always put on the back burner.
Fair.
And once it frees up time, it will allow us to do things we should be doing as humans. So I would give two messages to your audience. One, this is a lifetime opportunity to use this tool to elevate yourself. And secondly, free up time to do things, to be simply a human. So, two ends of the spectrum. One, do
True.
superhuman things. And second, free up time to simply be a human, to do things you love doing.
Absolutely. No, I love that. And this is really fascinating. And it really resonates with me, especially freeing up time because I remember a few years ago, or I will say 3 years ago, whenever somebody called me, I always say I'm too busy, too busy. And for last 2 years, of course, like everybody, I'm extensively using AI. And I can't tell you, Naveen, that the creative aspect which I have, and we are all engineers, and I never thought I have that. In fact, end up getting involved in two Hollywood movies, wrote
Amazing.
books, so it's
Can you
fun.
involve me too? That's one of
Abs-
my passions we haven't talked about: restaurants, movies, sports. So, can you involve me too in some way to help grow that community? Separate
Absolutely,
topic.
absolutely. In
Separate
fact, I
topic.
have a question for you. I'm going to Davos for a few years, and I will reach out to you separately. I want to do something as an IITian there.
Oh, great. I have been going there for like 20
I
plus
know.
years. Let's do it. Let's do
Perfect.
something. And, like outsiders are also invited who are
Of
not
course.
able to attend the event, right? Because there's 10x the people. Let's figure out what we do
That's
there.
great. We'll talk about it. So now going back to World Economic Forum, I know you are very active there, and you are seeing that community growing. What is your take that how are they shaping our future? How World Economic Forum, I'm not saying
Yep.
it's relevant, but what is your message on it, or what is your take on it?
Yeah. So I think this is the place I would say, as a not for profit, they're able to bring multiple constituents together. They bring for profit companies, they bring entrepreneurs, they bring academics, they get government leaders, they get policymakers, and put them in a room where people are trying to collaborate together to solve problems as much as they can to make the world a better place. So it's not another tech conference, what will AI do? But how do you have this public, private, not for profit policymaker conversation elevated, where there are conversations that are happening for the bigger gain of humanity? And I see people doing that there, right? It's not a place where you'll go get gyan and say, like, man, I understand how transformers work. There's none of that stuff, right? It is the human aspect. How do we grow together? How do we collaborate? And that was the theme of this year's World Economic Forum: building a collaborative future. I was surprised. I've been talking about collaborative intelligence 9 months back, and it's center stage, right? So that's what, and by the way, that's authentic to them. It's all about how do you make the world a better place by collaborating. And today, till today, for 30 years, you have been collaborating as humans. In the future, I see AI also collaborating with them. And so, just endless possibilities again. I'm an optimist. I'm an
Same here.
optimist.
Same here. So now some simple questions. We don't have a lot of time. So in alternate universe, if you can be someone else, who will that be?
I
An
think
artist, a painter, a musician, an actor? What would you like to be?
I think that's hard because I have like many passions, right? Like whether it was cricket, whether it's Bollywood, but I think giving back, and I think education is the way. So I would be a professor, right? Like basically where you amplify what you do, what I try to do today in helping entrepreneurs achieve their dreams. I would be using education as the way to make the world a better place.
You're already doing that. You're part of so
But you
many.
said alternative,
Yeah,
alternative.
so this is not alternate universe. That should be, I was hoping something more like I'll be the Superman or the Batman or someone else.
No. I just want to be a good human being. I don't have any ambitions to be Batman or Superman or other things. Just human life is a gift. Let's do good things and just have your head on your shoulders and be happy by being a human.
I think I already know the answer, but I'll still ask the question. What will be the title of your autobiography?
Why people matter. I'm a people first person, and I want to actually, I will be working on something around this thing, which why people matter. Because a lot of times, right, you're a VC, you're an entrepreneur, you're talking about markets, you're talking about tech, doesn't matter. It's all about the people. People build companies, people build products. So I want to explain why do people matter.
I would have
You
asked
cannot
the,
do anything without them. Nothing.
I thought you will say making people superhuman.
That AI is doing. That's
I
collaborative
know.
intelligence.
You are also doing it. You have made so many entrepreneurs superhuman.
Yeah,
So
but small AI can, right? Like to me, it's all about people, right? You do good things, you do good karma, good happens.
so let's talk a little bit about your confessions. Things you thought are right didn't work out, or things you expected will happen, because you are in Silicon Valley from early
Yep.
90s. So you have seen a lot. And like the technology you thought may work
Yep.
didn't work. Can you share your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Right. Like to me, first of all, one should not be afraid of failures, right?
Of course.
As Einstein said, if there's not enough things in front of you that haven't failed, you're never going to do
Enough.
the impossible. That means you aren't trying enough. You're not thinking exponential, nonlinear. I always take people, take moon shots, don't take roof shots. Try to jump. You see what I'm saying? Moon shots, not roof shots. Because then, if you shoot for the moon, at least you'll touch the roof. So to me, right?
Probably.
Yeah. I think to me, failure is only an opportunity to learn to do it better the next time. So if I look at a lot of the ideas that were happening in the internet era, most of them failed because whether it was web van, but look at Instacart, look at
Yeah, it's
Dash,
fascinating.
Uber, it's mass market. So it was a timing issue, right? So you can't get jaded by like, hey, it didn't work. There were reasons why it didn't work. Internet penetration wasn't there. There were no smartphones. CapEx was too much. But it was a timing thing. So to me, failure is only an opportunity to learn, to pivot, and to try it again. So a lot of the things that worked in mobile are actually old ideas. Just timing was wrong. And sometimes, right, like basically what happened with clean tech, besides solar, right, like and a few other things, alternative fuels just didn't work. Good attempts, but what do you do? The market just didn't care, or the projects were too capital intensive. And those were not venture opportunities. Venture companies are capital efficient. They have high gross margin. We don't do well at manufacturing things. So you learn from it. Uh, and when you are in Silicon Valley, you are taking moonshots. So if things don't work, it's It's okay. That's your job as an entrepreneur and a VC, to try the impossible. Because if you're just a naysayer, right, then you need to be not an entrepreneur or a VC. You have to imagine the impossible and dream that it will happen and pray to God every day that it will happen. And it does happen.
So
It just
you do
takes long.
believe in God.
Yeah, I do. I do. Right. Like basically, I worship twice a day, and I even do idol worship. Right. It's just good values. Right. Like my mom taught me. Right. Like basically, there is somebody who's the superhuman. And so it's not like, so just humans need somebody to watch their back. That's what God does for me.
Well, it's funny. Last week, my son was asking me this question, and he said he's atheist. And, of course, our kids can be whatever they want to be, right? So he said, Dad, what do you think? I see you pray every day. And I said, I don't know enough to to really say with certainty that if this is how the God is, but this gives me peace, this gives me joy, this gives me reasons, and it gives me belief to be something I want to be or I can be, basically. But longer,
Yeah, it's a
like I
faith.
don't know
It's a
enough.
faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a faith, right? Like basically, it keeps you grounded. It's a faith. It's your inner self. It's your spirit, right?
And
It's just faith. Either you have it or you don't have it.
in the same sentence, I mean, I said, my background from where I come. We all came to this country, most of
Yep.
IITs with $500 in our pocket, and we have built this amazing life. I mean, I never thought I'll be hanging out with people like Russell Crowe, making Hollywood movies. I mean, who am I, right? It's just unbelievable. So, uh, and you are absolutely right about the timing. In '96, I developed the first vehicle location system of Asia,
Amazing.
but too early.
Yeah,
Couldn't
yeah.
do with that.
Okay.
The
Right.
company
Like,
went
it's
out
okay.
of business.
You should do it again.
Now there are millions of solutions, man.
I know. But I'm saying apply it to something else. So no, I think like
Now I
it,
am mostly interested in bringing stories. I believe that I think is more
it's impact.
satisfying.
It's impact. Right. So you're being simply human and following your passions. And
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure these AI tools, teammates are helping you free up time.
100%, 100%. And helping me even think what I can do and how can I help our community, just the way you are doing it. You're making them superhuman. I'm trying to present them as a human. That's all.
Yeah, it's good. I love it. I love it.
So, any parting thought for our audience?
I think my only advice would be, right, like um, if you want to be an entrepreneur, just jump in and try, right? If you want, or if you have any dreams, just pursue them. You may not have the capital, approach VCs, but get good mentors in life who will help you. Get good advisors, get good well wishers, and keep doing good. Good will happen to you. But lifetime is only once. All of you IITians and other folks have amazing backgrounds, right? Like, just don't be afraid of failures. Just don't be afraid of failures. Just try and go do things and have enough good well wishers and advisors along the way. You'll get there. You'll get there. But if you don't try, you'll only have remorse.
Oh, there is one of the very famous Hollywood actor, I think Kurt Russell's father. There is a very famous interview. An interviewer asked him this question, do you have any regret? And that's the most profound answer I've heard in my life. It says, God damn it, I tried.
Yep. Right. Like, there's nothing like it. It's satisfaction.
Just, I tried. It doesn't work. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
You will
Have
all
fun. I think you need to have passion and
I
enjoy what you're going to do, but never have remorse, man. I could have tried it. That
exactly.
shouldn't be there. Just say, I tried it. right? And as you and I have faith, right? Like basically, I always tell people it's not my saying, right? It's the saying from the Gita and other people, right? Like focus on doing your karma. Don't worry about what the results will be, right? Just go do it. And
Naveen,
if you
thank
do it
you.
with good
I'm
vibes,
sorry.
good values, you'll get there. It might just take longer.
Yeah, time again, that's a conversation for another podcast, I think, is what is the time? Because now I'm reading a lot about the time as a dimension, as a concept, and it seems like that is also not making a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think to me, basically, there are three things what I call the black swan moment that happens for folks.
Hmm.
You have to be in the right place. People, your primary audience here, the IIT graduates, have gone to the right place. They have the right backgrounds, the right people.
Hmm.
You have to just wait for the right time. And when those three things come together, right place, right people, but you can't fight timing. But when you see there is a wedge, and if you get lucky with the timing, just greatness gets created. So, right place, right people, right time. But you and I can't control the timing of anything. So, just be optimistic. And building companies, doing anything good in your career, right? It's a marathon, it's not a sprint, right? There's no shortcuts in life. So, you have infinite time, longevity is going up to your karma, and just have a long term perspective and you'll get there.
That's
So that
fantastic.
would be the stuff, but it's been great, right? Like talking to you, and like you've covered a lot of things that I don't talk about. So kudos for getting it out, right? Like, and it's such a natural way, right? Like it's really a privilege that I really had fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So do I. And normally I summarize the conversation. In your case, I don't need to do anything. See, you took care of everything. But thank you so much. I
No,
will
thank
reach
you.
out to you in future and hopefully, and I live in Las
Absolutely.
Vegas now. So if you come here, please join us.
Actually, I'm like going to HumanX
Oh,
to speak on Monday, Tuesday. Please drop by, right? Like we can grab a cup of coffee or something. So I'll
tell me.
make sure Monica tells you, right, like where it is, and looking forward to catching up.
Same here.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Thanks, Naveen. Bye.